congratulate all of those who were involved in organizing this conference and initiating this tremendous initiative. The idea of bringing young leaders from the diaspora together is not a novel one. Earlier this year in May, I think it was, the African Diaspora Youth Leaders Conference convened in Canada at the University of Windsor. Last month, there was a major conference of young leaders from 19 countries representing 5 continents that gathered in Belgrade. And just last week, the Somali Diaspora Young Leaders Conference was held not in Somalia, but in the state of Virginia. We have recognized the importance of young people, the tremendous power and energy that is there among young leaders that are spread all across the diaspora. And last year, as you may recall, when we had the Diaspora Conference, we made youth leadership, young leadership, a part of the agenda, one of the areas of focus. This year we're going a step further. We are creating this platform, this forum, where our young leaders from all across the world, but particularly from those centers of concentration of Jamaican population, the United Kingdom, the United States and Canada, where we can bring them together and where we can engage them perhaps in a way that we have never contemplated before. You represent a tremendous, powerful resource that this country has. It's a resource that has been there for some time. It's a resource that I believe is anxious to become involved, anxious to become part of the problem-solving endeavor that all of us must engage ourselves in. What we need to do is to provide the facilities, provide the interface, to create the opportunities where you can be involved. In Jamaica, we have in excess of 1 million persons who are over 20 and under 45. And I suspect if we were to include not just Jamaicans who have migrated, but the descendants of Jamaicans who have lived abroad, we probably have an equivalent number of young Jamaican leaders in that age category as well. What we need to do is to bring everybody together so that we can focus on those problems that have bedeviled us for so long. We are faced, as you will appreciate, with enormous challenges. Every country is going through difficult times, and we have had to cope with the devastating effect of the global crisis. Even powerful economies like China and India, which have been accustomed to recording double-digit growth consistently for over a decade, have seen that performance slashed virtually in half. And you can imagine those countries like Jamaica that have never been in that league, you can imagine the impact that it is having. We have lost significant sources of foreign exchange flows. And our bauxite alumina industry, that is down 65% of our capacity is now closed, we hope, temporarily. And when you think of the fact that bauxite alumina accounts for 60% of our total merchandise export, you understand the impact that it has. Remittances have been our largest single source of foreign exchange flows. The money that persons like you and others send back to Jamaica, that has declined significantly. Up to the end of June, 17% decline. And that level of decline is likely to increase even further, because once there are job losses of the extent that we have seen in the major countries, United States and United Kingdom in particular, it is going to affect those flows. So we're hurting. But we're seeking to navigate our way through this crisis. We have indicated that we will have to seek an arrangement with the International Monetary Fund in order to fill this huge gap that has been created. We are negotiating with them. We are seeking to ensure that we protect those gains that we have made over many, many years through great sacrifice so that we don't have to travel that road again. We're seeking to ensure that we can get the support while recognizing that we cannot flinch in terms of our commitment to human development in education and in other critical social security areas, and particularly in terms of the protection that we now provide for the poor and the vulnerable. Those negotiations are continuing. But we have to look beyond this crisis. We have to make sure that we create the environment, that we build the foundation on which we can really build the Jamaican economy. This crisis caught us at a time when we were not prepared, when we were not in a position to cushion the blows that have come. And what we need to do is to make sure that we work our way through this storm, but importantly, to focus as much of our attention as possible on removing the binding constraints to growth, those things that have held us back even in the best of times, so that when this shall have passed, as indeed it will, we will be in a position to move forward. It is in that area of building, it is in that area of positioning ourselves for development and growth that I want to urge, I want to encourage, I want to invite you to become partners with us. Because no matter how long you may have been away from home, and no matter the fact that some of you may actually have been born abroad, no matter the fact that some of you may not have visited Jamaica very often, you are ours. You know, in the Turks and Caicos Island, because they have such a preponderance of foreigners in the country, a number that exceeds those who are actually born in the Turks and Caicos, they have a word for the people that they regard as natives to Turks and Caicos. They call them belongers. And I want to regard all of you, even though some of you may be visiting here for the first in a long time, maybe for the first time, I want to regard all of you as belongers. This land is your land. This land belongs to you and me. And I want to urge you to become partners with us. The Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade provides the leadership in interfacing with the diaspora. And I want to commend the leadership of the ministry, the people who have done tremendous work. Professor Ying and others, Dr. Robinson, who leads that process at the political executive level. I want to commend them for the work that they have done, but there's so much work that needs to be done. Because many of you will ask us questions, I want to get involved, but how do I get involved? Many of you have acquired knowledge and skills and experience that could be of tremendous value to us here. We used to think in the past that the only way that that could work is if you decide to return to Jamaica permanently. And therefore we put so much emphasis on encouraging persons to return home. We want to encourage as many of you as possible to return home. But we need to recognize that that is not a precondition for your engagement and your involvement. We must find ways in which you can continue to pursue what you are pursuing abroad, because it's not going to be possible for all of you to return home. And I will concede that if all of you were to decide to return home, I wouldn't even know what to do with you. But we can find ways in which you can be engaged. The technology allows it. What we must do is put in place the facilities to create the opportunities so that we can tap into the tremendous resource that you all represent. Jamaica, no matter how difficult the struggles that we're going through, no matter how hard the times, we are not just a resilient people, we are a powerful people. We have demonstrated in so many respects that we can be the best in the world. And I believe that the best of us is still yet to come. I want to welcome you to Jamaica. I want to wish every success in the deliberations in which you will be engaged. And I want to urge you once again, let's hold hands and let's build this country that we have into the greatest little country on the face of the earth. God bless you.